Vols are back.
Yeah. Money make the world go round. I'm trying to get a dog right now. Everybody worried about the crown being. Look, homie, I'm the man right now. Talking to a peon, kind of time we on. Jump roll like the kind of take eons. Got a little buzz, it's time to go beyond. Can't look back, no time to hit rewind. Yeah, she wants to do S class. I'm like, boo, who are you must ask. They pour way too much in your glass. Just move your hips like a whole up class. Hit the gab, I talk that gap. Strut like up, man, I walk that shit. When I'm up, that's it. I'ma start living reckless. Get that bag, I'ma walk like this. Yeah, I'ma walk like this. Hit that lane, I'ma walk like this. Walk in the spot, but they all get lit. Told them on flow, let me talk my shit. Every song bang when they drop in hit. Said on the man, post stop, no miss. Over your head, next time don't slip. Play your part, better read that script. Yeah, I'ma walk like this.
Oh, whoops. Hold up. There we go. Julio will be here momentarily. And this time I actually remembered to unmute my mic and the desktop audio. So, hooray! Nobody, we're not starting out the show muted, although we are starting a minute late. I apologize for that. Nonetheless, oi, fellow comrades, it's Squidtard here along with my boy over there, Mr. Lucas Sharp. Again, I don't know why. This is the weirdest thing, Lucas. I don't know why this is the case, but my camera is flipped from how it has been in every other show that we've done. It's weird. I don't understand. I'm going to try and figure that out this weekend, but...
Have you tried giving it a good smack?
Maybe I should. Maybe I should just bop. But then if I do that, it's going to freeze and everything's going to mess up, so I'd rather just not touch it. But how are you doing tonight, buddy?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. I mean, work wasn't that bad today, I guess, but I have to get up at 3 a.m. in the morning once again. I thought I figured it tonight would have been the perfect night to do the podcast because I thought I would have had a Wednesday off so we could have been on the podcast like as long as we wanted, but that's not the case.
Right, it's been a weird day. Anyway, because obviously this is the first day of classes on campus. I had my first class this afternoon, went to that, and then I went back this evening for my next class, and turns out the professor no-showed. So, waste of gas money. Woo! Tough luck there, but what can you do? What can you do? I'm just glad I made it back in time to eat and do this show. Yeah. Julio's got no excuses, so we're 5 minutes into this show. Call his ass up.
Yeah, like, come on. We know Julio's at home. I mean, dude literally works from home.
Yeah, he's about to join, as always. Every time we call Julio, remember, Julio is always the last one to show up.
There's no way he's just now about to join. If he says he's about to join,
he's probably watching WWE or something.
It's Tuesday. Besides NXT, there's no WWE on Tuesday. But nobody really watches NXT.
Good grief.
Is he not going to answer?
Well, in the meantime, let me go ahead and reach out to the... Oh, there we go.
Oh, hey, we're started up the podcast.
Yeah, no.
What do you mean, yeah, you know?
He was about to join?
Bullshit. Yeah, that's bullshit.
Yeah, Squid's mad at you. If you don't get in here in like 10 seconds, he's going to fire you and bring on TriStar instead, so you better get in here.
Well,
that'll show him.
Yeah, that'll really show him. All right, let's reach out to the comment section real quick. Tony Vitello, Stan, what's going on, buddy? This is a new guy. Tennessee currently leading 34-16 at the half versus Mississippi State. Yes. Great performance by the basketball team. We're going to talk about them and the Lady Vols and a few other things. We'll obviously talk about last night's national championship game. We've got quite a bit to speak on today. What's going on, College Football Network? DB33 committed to Cal. I did hear that. Rocky, what's going on, buddy? He says, how do you think Nico will do next season? It all depends on whether or not he has an offensive line with him. Squid, you look so young. Well, I'm 22 years old. What do you expect? You know what I mean? Now, if you're saying I look like I'm 12 years old, I don't really. That's kind of an insult, but I'll let that one slide. I'll let that one slide for the sake of professionality over here on the show. All right, so I guess we'll start out with this. So the public service announcement here from Squidtard Sports. Obviously, I've got a lot of things coming up, not just for this channel, but for this podcast. We're going to be adding special guests onto this show over the offseason for college football. We're going to have a lot of people in here for the rest of the shows coming up. It's going to be a great time. So if you ever think about being a special guest on the show, reach out to me on Twitter or wherever you can find me. There are plenty of spaces to find me. I'm basically everywhere at this point. The only place I'm not, at least now, currently, is TikTok. So, yeah.
I wish it would have gotten banned. Like,
dang,
it got banned, and I was so happy. But then Trump got it back, and I was like, man, this is a major L by Trump.
Why do you care so much?
Bro, it's literally the main cause for brain rot.
Hey, you ever heard of YouTube Shorts?
No.
Yeah, I guess not. All right, Julio's here. What's going on, Julio? And now I can switch over to this fine, smexy layout right here.
Oh, none much.
Are you underwater?
Oh, no.
Under the sea. Under the sea.
Under the sea.
What? Were you at a swimming pool? There we go.
Wait, can y'all not hear me?
Now we can. Now
we can. Wait, bro, were you swimming with the Little Mermaid or something?
All right.
No, I think maybe it's just something with the.
All right. But anyways, let's get back on track.
Yeah, right. What he said. So I guess we'll go ahead and start out. Obviously, I just dropped the information about future projects, special guests on the show, stuff like that. So again, if you ever want to be a special guest or want to make an appearance on the show, feel free to reach out to me. I'll also be, for anybody that won't be a special guest, in some of our shows that we do, I'll be dropping the link in case we run out of topics early, and people can come in and share their thoughts about whatever here on the show. So make sure to stay tuned for that. It's going to be a great off-season here on the Vol-Star Podcast. For anybody that wants to donate to the channel, $1, of course, equals 1 push-up here on the stream. So if somebody sends a $10 super chat, I'll get down and do 10 push-ups. You get the idea. Let's waste no more time. Let's roll into some of the topics for today. So obviously, the college football season has officially come to a close. The national championship occurred last night. Great game for the second half. The first half was a sleep fest. And it looked like it was going to be a full-on blowout, but Notre Dame sort of made it extremely competitive in the end. And we're going to talk about that game later, but right now, the only thing that's really important to get from that in terms of Tennessee is that the final AP and coaches poll came out, and Tennessee is ranked number 9 in the final AP poll and ranked number 8 in the final coaches poll. So, and they're ranked number 10 in the final Squidtard poll. So everybody's different about where they think Tennessee should be. They're kind of in that bubble with the rest of the teams that lost in the first round. It sort of depends on how you feel about SMU and Indiana as well, and everybody's indifferent about that too. So, yeah, that's kind of where we've been laying around. Where would you guys put them in terms of your final poll?
Definitely somewhere in the top 10. I mean, 3-loss team that made the playoffs, finished off with 3 losses. 2 losses are to pretty good teams. 1 is a loss to, a pretty mid team in Arkansas. So, I guess not that bad of a loss considering it was on the road. And it's hard to play on the road anywhere in the SEC. Well, everywhere except for Vanderbilt.
Yeah, you kind of got a point there. Can't argue with that.
Yeah, I'm fine with where we're ranked. What else can I say? I think it's a fair ranking. Did Indiana finish ranked ahead of us? It would make the most sense that they were. They had less losses than us, and their losses were actually kind of close.
I think I think on one of them. I think we're ranked ahead of them in the coaches poll, but ranked below them in the AP.
All right, that's fine. They kind of deserve to be ranked ahead of us. I mean, they have less losses, and their losses were pretty close. They only lost to Notre Dame by 10, which they were the national title runner-ups, and then I think they only lost to Ohio State by, 14 or something like that?
Something like that. Something close, too.
Yeah. So, yeah, Indiana, I'm fine with them being ranked ahead of us. And, of course, you got to rank Notre Dame and Ohio State ahead of us, because they just made it to the national championship. Same with Texas, same with Georgia. So,
right.
I feel like we should probably be ranked ahead of. The only one we probably shouldn't be ranked ahead of is probably SMU. This is my opinion.
Yeah.
That's the only one I wouldn't rank ahead of us.
Yeah. Everybody's sort of indifferent about how they feel in terms of where we should be ranked, and the same goes for all the other teams in the bubble of that first round playoff. All those first round playoff teams that lost, and the same goes even for the semifinal and the quarterfinal teams. Everybody's indifferent on where to slide. Georgia and Penn State. Arizona State for one. Arizona State's a hard one to really kind of pick where you want them to be. It's tough. It's a very tough decision, but at the end of the day, at least we're still in the top 10, and for the first time in a very long time, we finished higher than Alabama, so that's always fun.
yeah.
That's always fun. A bit of a funny stat there for Gits and Shiggles. You know what I mean? Not much else to take from
Yeah,
that.
and I was going to say, ain't this the only the first season since 2006 or 7 that Alabama didn't have 10 wins?
Yeah, something like that, like 2006 or 2007, where they didn't have 10 wins and they had more than 3 losses in a season.
That's right. That's why this doesn't feel like that much of a major accomplishment, because Alabama turns out they were terrible this year. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And Alabama really wasn't that good this year. And honestly, I don't even know if they're going to get better.
Hey, but the good news is for them, they at least were able to represent Ryan Williams with their final ranking, because guess where they ended up? 17,
17.
17.
That's right. 17.
Well, guess what? Now he's about to be 18.
Oh, dang.
He's the first 17-year-old to play for the 17th rank final AP ranking team.
Daggum. Ain't that a something? Ain't that a something? All right, well, we'll cover, since the basketball team, at least the men's basketball team, is playing right now, we'll cover them pretty quickly, and then we'll move on to Lady Vols. But kind of the same result for both teams, like mirror images of each other. The Lady Vols and the men's basketball team, of course, they had an SEC opponent earlier on in the week, and Lady Vols beat Mississippi State 86-73, and then men's basketball, they beat Georgia 74-56. And then they lost their next game against Vanderbilt in the exact same way. Close game down the line for both games. Lady Vols lost by 1, 71-70 from a comeback by Vandy. And then the men's basketball team, while their comeback was special, they also lost to Vanderbilt by 1, this time 76-75. So literally, I mean, you couldn't draw that up any better if you're somebody who hates Tennessee. You got exactly what you want and then a whole lot more from that one. So it definitely raised a lot of questions about just how talented both of these teams are. Obviously, for the Lady Vols, I think Kim Caldwell is still doing a really good job, because Kelly Harper would not have won that game either. And then as for the men's, I think there's a lot more questions with how the men's performed than how the women's performed, because with the men's basketball team, that definitely came as a huge shocker, because you would have expected a Rick Barnes Tennessee team to sort of go in there and dominate, but Chaz Lanier did not play up to par for starters.
One thing I will say is that we always there's a couple places in the SEC we always seem to struggle with, like on the road, and that is Florida, just Florida in basketball or Florida in general. But and then for basketball, it's Georgia and then also Vanderbilt. I don't know. We can't. It's hard to beat Vanderbilt Memorial. I feel like the only reason we dominated them so much there for a couple of years there is because Vanderbilt was so horrible. Like they were absolutely abhorrent for their like
Yeah,
a couple of years there.
yeah.
Right.
Vanderbilt's court is just built so weird. It's hard to play there. Like their home floor is built so freaking weird.
Yeah, so
If you,
that's a new one. I'm gonna admit, the Vols losing because of the court.
I'm not saying they lost because of the court, but you know it. I mean, well, you know, it's just the court is just so weird. It's hard to just play on, and it's weird how they like lay out everything in the stands and everything. And that kind
Yeah, I
of
mean,
gives Vanderbilt somewhat of a good home court advantage.
well, yeah, it keeps like all the room and stuff like that. Except for the ones that are like behind there, like they're so close to the court, they practically are on the court.
Right.
And the was it the I think the chairs like where the bench are like at the end of like the court if I remember correctly. Like I mean it's a weird layout.
Yeah, it's definite. It's the most ugly arena in all of the SEC. Like, doesn't no nothing else even compares.
Yeah, that's alarming. That's alarming. If we went to the ugliest arena and got swept in both of our basketball sports.
Here's the thing, though. I mean, yes, it's embarrassing we lost to Vandy, but Vandy's actually somewhat good this year. They only have like what 3 or 4 losses, so they're not a bad team. And then the women's Vanderbilt team is also really good. They're probably about to be ranked in the top 25 after beating us probably.
Yeah, they've only lost one game in women's, and that was like Michigan State by like a couple points.
Yeah, something like that.
Which Michigan State, I think, in women's is like a top 25 team or top 15 team, somewhere along those lines. So,
Exactly. All right. Well, any other thoughts on the basketball teams? Because I know, obviously, still the men's basketball team obviously playing right now. Now they're beating the absolute hell out of the poor Cowbell College. But any other thoughts?
Yeah, they're up. Tennessee right now is up by 14, and Chad Lanier, he might have finally gotten himself off the milk carton. He has 16 points.
Wait, we're beating Mississippi State. We couldn't beat them last year.
I don't know.
Ain't that
I guess Dalton Connect was allergic to cowbells. Yeah. I don't know.
All right. Well, real quick before we get back over to the football topic, let's go back to the comments real quick. College Football Network says you're my favorite YouTuber right now. Well, I appreciate that, buddy. I try to do what I can. Young Man Connor, Kentucky fans just got our loss set versus Vandy. Yeah, Kentucky fans, they know a lot about sucking off the tits of somebody else.
Yeah.
Pick up your shovel and get back to the coal mines.
All right.
Yeah. I was going to say it's hilarious how honestly, sometimes it feels like they love seeing Tennessee lose more than they love seeing Kentucky win.
Kentucky baseball.
I mean, there's not much sports where they have been good the past couple of years, so they're probably not used to winning, as much as.
Yeah, now that I think about it, there is not a fan base we dog walk more on this show than Kentucky. Literally, every single show we always find something else to dog walk Kentucky with, and the fact that they just keep giving us more source material to dig into it really goes to show just how loyal and also annoying these Kentucky fans are.
Yeah. So, I don't care. I freaking hate Kentucky.
If there's a big blue individual out there who's watching this right now, feel free to give your comments somewhere in the comments below. That would be phenomenal. Sis is here.
Hashtag 0 Final Fours. Hashtag no natties.
Something like that, yeah. Sifs, what's going on, buddy? He says Florida versus Tennessee basketball game was even more embarrassing, though. Well, hey, we are going to be in attendance. By the way, I forgot we were supposed to mention this, but us, as in me, Lucas Sharp, Julio, and then Sifs, all of us are going to be in attendance for the Florida-Tennessee basketball game in Thompson-Boling Arena. And I can officially say that I will be in attendance with the mustard costume.
Oh, God.
So get ready for that.
Bruh, don't you have, like... Or never mind, you don't have a losing record in the mustard costume. I think you're an even 1-1, I think.
Yeah, because we're 1-1. We're gonna make that 2-1 in the mustard costume. Looking forward to seeing how that goes. So
yeah, I guess I'll have to show up in a different pair of shoes. The last Tennessee shoes I wore in Thompson Boling Arena, we lost, so I might have to wear my Hey Dudes instead when I go to the game.
Yeah, and Sifs, I see you in the comments, buddy. I hate to throw you on the spot here, but more than likely, for the sake of getting funny footage like I did on the Athens trip, you are going to be the cameraman for when I get my phone. And I'll try and get a selfie stick for you so that'll make it way easier to hold up the phone instead of just doing what our previous cameraman did and just holding his phone down to his waist. So all you could see was me. Well, all you could see was my legs.
Yeah. Well, if nothing funny happens, I'll be more than glad to just come out of nowhere and be like, Halloween's over, you idiot.
Yeah. Way to go, man. Halloween's over. Yeah.
Yeah, dude was big man.
Yeah, I mean, as salty as that guy was, that was nothing compared to the dude in Athens who was all alone and then called me the other F word, and then as soon as I walk up to him, he just points straight in my face with a finger gun and goes, Gay. Like, wow, got me. God damn! Might as well just flee the state now.
Not gonna lie, I'm surprised you didn't throw hands.
Well, no, I'm not gonna throw hands with somebody who says something like that. Although it was funny to, as stupid as that clown was, it definitely wasn't worth getting an assault charge. That's what I meant to say. Young man Connor says, "Where'd you get the mustard costume?" No clue. My mom got it 15 years ago. And we've had it since. It wasn't 15. It was more like like 10 years ago. Yeah. It's probably from Halloween City or something.
Yeah. Should I bring golf balls?
You can if you want, but good luck getting them into Thompson Boling Arena.
I just bring them into Thompson Boling Arena. I just get tackled to the ground, and I get put in handcuffs.
Yeah.
I didn't do anything.
You would do that. And then when they ask for your name, I'll just look at him and go, "I'm Lucas Sharp, Lucas Sharp, Lucas Sharp." All right. Anyway,
I'll tell him it's all your fault.
Yeah, everything's my fault. Don't you know? I'm still getting blamed for Tennessee losing to Ohio State because I made a video about it. I need to work on my pass protection, it seems. All right, well then, let's go ahead and talk about the main topic for today. Obviously, everybody's here for the foosball, and it's important we talk about it because it's the last time we'll really be able to, in terms of actual games. Yeah. So, Ohio State and Notre Dame. Obviously, it was a pretty boring game all the way up until the end of the third quarter when Notre Dame made it an interesting fight. It really wasn't the best game overall. None of these games usually are. But this was the more entertaining national championship because in most other cases, the game is over in the third quarter. Take the TCU Georgia, for example. That one was over in the first quarter. Michigan Washington, that one was over in the third quarter. You just sort of go down the list. We haven't had a really, really strong national championship since 2021 was pretty good, but everything before that, you have to go all the way back to 17 to try.
Yeah, 17. 17 is probably the best national championship I've seen between Alabama and Georgia.
Those 3 years right there, 15, 16, and 17, had some incredible national title games.
Oh yeah, 15 was good. 16 was good between Alabama and Clemson, especially with Clemson winning.
They were great. Yeah, but you are right though. Yeah, that we did get the better end of the stick on that one.
And even though this one was a blowout, 2018 was great.
I can get behind that. I can.
Yes, I don't care even if it was a blowout. 2018 was absolutely amazing, and if you ask everybody else across college football, they'll say the same thing.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. Hard to argue with that even. Well, here's some stats for you in terms of how Ohio State did, and this pretty much tells the whole story right here. Will Howard and Riley Leonard were pretty much even on the passing scale. Obviously, Riley Leonard, most of his passing stats came in the fourth quarter, because like before the fourth quarter, he had like I think max 100 passing yards, and then going into the after the fourth quarter, he had a total of 55 passing yards. So he had like 150 passing yards in one quarter. Will Howard had 231 passing, still pretty good stat. But here's kind of what tells the tale for this game. Ohio State had 214 rushing yards. Quinshad Judkins, 11 carries for 100 yards. Will Howard ran the ball pretty good with 57 yards out of 16 carries. Travion Henderson had 49 yards. They were pretty much doing whatever they wanted to running the ball wise. Notre Dame, they had a really good drive running the ball to start out the game. Obviously, they just spammed the quarterback draw 19 times. And turns out that actually somehow worked out pretty well. But everything afterwards, Riley Leonard wasn't able to get anything going. Jeremiah Love, he had a total of 3 yards. A total of 3 yards. Jeremiah Love had more carries than yards. So very alarming for Notre Dame in terms of running the ball. The Ohio State D-line was all over them in terms of that. Now, Jaden Grayhouse had a great game, and he's, of course, the great wide receiver for the Irish. In fact, he was the best receiver overall by both teams. He had more yards than Jeremiah Smith did. But then again, most of his yards came from that one game-sealing catch at the end of the game. But, yeah, anyway, all that to say, I mean, you could look at the defensive stats. Ohio State had 7 TFLs compared to Notre Dame's 5. Both teams had 2 sacks. Basically, it all comes down to the run game, and Ohio State well dominated in that. But even then, had Notre Dame not completely folded up in the last few minutes of the fourth quarter, that could have been very well, could have been an overtime type of game. And obviously, it would have been really, really bad for Ryan Day.
But that first drive, you know what they reminded me of whenever they kept on spamming that QB draw?
What's that?
They reminded me of the Tennessee Ole Miss game a couple years ago.
Oh, yeah?
During Heupel's first year, when Matt Corral ran for, 200 yards or something, and all they did was keep on running draws with him.
Yeah, and it really wasn't even draws. He was stepping back to throw, and then before he'd even find a receiver, he'd just start running.
Yeah, well, I mean, like I said, I don't know if they were design draws or he was just turning them into draws, because anytime he would do that, he would, get set, ready to pass, and then he'd look for a second, and then he would just, like a draw, just run straight up the middle and get 10 yards, and I'm like, can someone please stop him?
No.
He's done that 20 times.
Yeah, no. Yeah, good luck with that. Yeah, no. But Lucas, over to you. Any other big pressing thoughts about the game that you noticed?
I mean, not really. I went to sleep when Ohio State went up 28-7 in the third quarter. I was like, oh yeah, this game's over. Notre Dame. I was like, Notre Dame, they ain't got it to win it this year. Although Notre Dame, I will say Marcus Freeman, like I said on the show before, I like Marcus Freeman. I think he's a really good head coach, and it's only going to be a matter of time until he wins the national championship in Notre Dame, in my opinion. Because, I mean, listen, they got the money to do it.
Oh,
to
yeah, they definitely do now.
Yeah, to win themselves the national championship, they could definitely, they've been recruiting really well. They've usually been recruiting in the top 10 every single year, and they'll definitely be with that money, they'll be able to hoard the transfer portal and be able to get whoever they want, basically. So
Yeah, well, see,
don't.
that's why they'll never join a conference, because if they join a conference, then they got to start sharing that 14 million they made.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I was getting mad at Notre Dame for not joining a conference, but now I can completely understand why they don't. I do the same thing. I would do the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Hey, was it? I think who the other two independents are UConn and UMass. So UConn, UMass. If you can get a great coach and have one good season and have a Cinderella run, you might could turn into the next Notre Dame. You
I
never know.
Well,
mean,
UConn
probably.
UConn did go.
Yeah.
Why they go? I think they went like 9-4 this year. They beat
Yeah,
North
UConn.
Carolina in the
Yeah,
whatever bowl.
UConn. I mean, I'm not saying they're going to be a powerhouse or anything, but UConn football is definitely on the rise.
Playoffs. Playoffs. That's what Jim Moore would do. Him being the coach.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
yeah.
but they are on the rise, though. I mean, we can admit that,
Oh,
right?
yeah. Well,
Yeah, well, I would say for UConn football, they're on the rise. If they especially keep up this trajectory, yeah.
right. Well, here's one thing that's for certain. Notre Dame obviously is on the rise. I do agree with Lucas. But one thing that I do think remains true is that Ohio State is the team going forward, at least until they lose or get eliminated from the playoffs, because they've got so much talent and they're going to continue to have so much talent. Saw somebody in the comment section mention that Judkins is going to be back for next year, so they're going to have him. It's going to be down to a quarterback thing for Ohio State. But obviously, as talented as Jeremiah Smith is, he's going to be around for the next at least 2 years. So that's something to really think about. That man is going to be in college for the next 2 years. He's going to be balling out at Ohio State every single year.
Yeah.
So it's going to be, based on what they have, the talent that they have all over their roster, it's going to be extremely difficult to slip past them if they're playing at full capacity. If they're playing like they were against Michigan, then it's easy money. But
also, I want to bring this up. But in the 2023 preseason, before the 2023 season started, I predicted Michigan to win the national championship, and of course, I got that right. And then the 2024 season, 2024 preseason, I picked Ohio State to win the national championship, and I got that right. So, sorry, I just wanted to brag a little bit there, but.
I mean, everybody picked Ohio. I picked Ohio State to win, but
Yeah,
the Michigan one was good. I'll give you that. I'll give you credit for that.
Yeah, and then this year, I don't know who I'm gonna pick. I'm gonna probably have to look at all the rosters. I'd probably lean toward like Ohio State because they return Jeremiah Love or not Jeremiah Love, Jeremiah Smith.
You know what? I need to see it now. Somebody needs to go back to the live stream, but when we were predicting champion teams, it was probably the Tennessee prediction video or the Tennessee prediction stream we did. We probably did our national championship picks there, but we need to go back and see if Lucas is actually telling the truth, and see if
it's the
did
truth.
pick Ohio State to win.
It's the truth. In the preseason, even when we went to a football game together, Squid, I was telling you about how good Ohio State was going to be this year.
I mean, I didn't argue with you. I'm just saying we need some serious proof. That's all I'm saying. Because that young man Connor's accusing you of lying. So
I'm not lying, young man Connor. I predicted them to win the national championship in the preseason.
I don't know. You're getting awfully defensive right now.
In the tournament, I didn't pick them to win. I mean but in the preseason, I picked them to win.
Well, there you go. There you go. That's all there is to say about that. So we're really gonna see kind of what Ohio State can bring to the table. What I really want to see is unrelated to the Ohio State game. What I really want to see is somebody between me or Lucas shipping Julio a new mic, so that every time he unmutes, we know.
We gotta remember. I'm pretty sure Julio's doing this on his phone.
I know.
Somebody needs to send Julio a laptop ASAP.
We'll get the funds for
I
it.
I do have a laptop, but also on that my mic's messed up like on my phone, so
So,
that's why
so
I
you
probably
need a
need
new
to just get a new phone.
you need a
You
microphone
need a
for your
new headset.
laptop, is what you're saying.
You need like a
Well,
headset.
but yeah, well, if I had my Beats headphones, I'd be fine, but they're not. I don't have them
So what you're
right now.
saying
All
is
right.
you need a new microphone, right?
Well, practically a new phone, but like I said, I would have been fine if I had my Beats headphones.
Well, yeah, I can't. Well, I can't buy you a new phone. That's why I'm asking.
I mean, me and Squid, if we put our money together, we could probably buy you new headphones, but we're not buying you a new
Yeah,
phone.
that's what we're saying. So,
No. I mean, I have headphones. They're just at the house.
so you have headphones with a mic that you can use. That won't go. Do, 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 do,
Yeah,
do,
I
do.
just don't have them with me at the moment.
Okay. Would highly recommend getting that by next Monday. Is all I can say.
Yeah, I mean,
Because it is. It's like whiplash every time you unmute your mic. I'll be speaking, and then it'll be like my mirror self is yelling at me, if that makes sense. So we need to get that fixed. Tell me if you need help. Is all I can really say about that. All right. Well, anything else about the Natty game that you guys want to cover? Any stats? Any funnies? Any other than the fact that Ryan Day, the fraud allegations have officially been beaten.
Yeah, Ryan Day. If somehow, some way, he didn't save his job even before making the national championship, he definitely saved it now. And what's funny is that these Michigan fans, even after Ohio State winning the national championship, they're still making fun of Ohio State for, beating them.
That rivalry is undefeated. That's all there is to it.
Yeah. I just think it'd be kind of crazy, though, man. I just wish that in 2022 we would have gotten the Michigan versus Ohio State national championship. Like, we were so close to getting a Michigan versus Ohio State national championship. Like, literally in the regular season rivalry series, the winner of that game could win 40 straight, but they still wouldn't have to be able to talk smack because of that one championship game.
Exactly. All right then. Well, Sif's requested I play this, so I'll play the get out sound effect real fast. There you go. All right then. Well, one last thing before we call it wraps on tonight's show. There is one thing I did want to kind of touch on real quick, which I thought was pretty funny. Obviously, everybody on this stream, if you're a Vol fan, you know the name Harrison Bailey. He was a former Tennessee quarterback. He was actually the first quarterback, the only quarterback that stuck around before Josh Heupel got there. And now he went from UNLV. So he transferred from Tennessee to UNLV, and then the next year he transferred from UNLV to Louisville as a backup, and now he is transferring to guess where? The Florida Inbreds, that's right. So he is becoming, he is officially a Florida Gator now. So
Yeah. He's officially a Florida man.
So we're gonna wish him the best of luck. 11 out of the 12 games that he plays.
Yeah, exactly. Well, honestly, now that he committed to Florida, I don't care. I'm revoking his VFL card.
Young man Connor with a $2 super chat. Thank you very much. He says Vols football ceiling 11-1, floor 4-8. Really the floor is 0-12. And then the ceiling is 17-0, as we all know.
Yeah. Yeah, you never know. We might lose to Cumberland back to school.
Yeah. Ooh, Cumberland a playoff team, sure. But that is going to sting a little bit more if we wound up losing to Florida with Harrison Bailey as a quarterback in the game. That's going to hurt.
Yeah, that's going to hurt.
Well, think about it. Every other quarterback we played this year has been a backup. Arkansas's was a backup. Oklahoma's was a backup. Bama's, I think Bama and Georgia were the only ones that didn't play their backups.
No, Arkansas wasn't a backup. Taylon Green's our starter.
No, but Taven Green was out at halftime and they put a new guy in.
Oh yeah, I
Um,
forgot, but yeah.
Yeah. The J.G. Bailey debate was the Milton Nico debate of 5 years ago. I was a huge Harrison Bailey guy. I thought he was a really good quarterback.
me too. I remember like Harrison Bailey. He looked good in one of the spring games, and I went on to like one of the shows and one of these podcasts, and I was talking about how Harrison Bailey should be the starter, and then somebody was telling me that I was stupid and that that I don't know ball or anything, saying I shouldn't say anything based on spring games. And
Then who would they start? I guess it would be between Milton or Hendon Hooker. Which again, Hendon Hooker wound up being a home run hit right there because it turns out he was a really good quarterback. But the first 2-3 weeks of the 21 season, I was like, yeah, this is humiliating. Harrison Bailey waited all offseason to get the start at Tennessee, stuck around it only to be the freaking third string behind a quarterback that can't even throw, hit the broadside of a barn. You know what I mean? But then,
Yeah.
then
Well,
Hendon
see,
Hooker comes in and balls out, and then my whole opinion changed.
yeah. I mean, here's the thing. Hendon Hooker, I feel like I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback, but I think he had like just the perfect system and everything that maximize his strengths as a quarterback. Like this system just maximizes strength that Hyper ran. Like always had a good arm and like good deep ball accuracy, but they didn't use that at Virginia Tech. They always try to make him a game manager.
Mm-hmm.
That's not who he is.
Right. He definitely balled out under Heupel's system, or maybe it all was Alex Golish. Nobody really knows it, but I think next year we're really going to see some answers about whether or not Heupel really is this offensive mind that people have set him out to be. A lot of people are giving him more credit than ever because of the 21 and 22 season. But ever since Golish left, this offense has been a former shell of itself. Now, I don't know if that's just a coincidence. Maybe it is all just a coincidence. Maybe next year, Heupel's offense comes in and they ball out perfectly. I mean, we
Yeah.
don't know, but
Well, one thing I think that's held it back is that we don't have a good haven't had a good offensive line or as good of an offensive line since the 2022 team.
right.
Because that was one of the strengths of that team. We had, Darnell. We had, of course, Darnell Wright, of course, who was the best one, but we still had other talent like on the line other than that.
Yeah.
I'm not
Right.
saying like, but the thing was, we had a good interior line, which is why we did so well running the ball for the most part. Um, but we didn't have good tackles, and you have to have good tackles, especially if you're going to run this, the offense that he usually likes to run, because you're gonna usually throw like a lot of screens and stuff like that, and then you're also gonna throw just swing passes, which if you don't have good blocking on the edges, those they can just shed those blocks and get
Mm-hmm.
tackles for loss.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tony Vitello's stand makes a really good point. I do think David Sanders will make a huge difference, but
Oh yeah.
I'm also of the belief that Cooper Mays loss is really gonna hurt.
Yeah.
That's gonna hurt.
Yeah. We
Yeah,
do. Oh, I was just gonna say it's a good thing. Like he said, we bring in, of course, David Sanders. He's probably going to be a day one starter, I would imagine. And then we also bring in that one guy from Arizona. And by the way, he looks. I actually like the guy. I think I like his footwork and I like his ethic. I think he'll be. I think he'll be a good starter and everything. But yeah, we'll see. This should be probably Tennessee's best offensive line since 22. But if we ain't able to get anything going with this offensive line, Glenn Ellerby definitely needs to go.
Oh yeah, no. If we're talking about the same exact problem next year, then yeah, I think it's by that time it's time to clear house on the offensive staff because obviously we've given these guys 2 years now. In the case of Glenn Ellerby, he's been there for as long as Heupel has. And the fact that the offensive line that regressed by that much is extremely concerning. So,
Yeah.
I mean, right now it doesn't seem like anybody's going to get candy. Extended Tim Banks, which makes sense, and none of the offensive coaching staff has been canned. So something tells me that it's going to be the same staff for next year. So we're going to see a kind of really the fruits of this recruiting
Yeah.
class.
One thing I want to say, we need to increase the recruiting budget for the secondary for Willie Martinez, because uh, a lot of people need to give him credit. I know they got torched in the Ohio State game, but damn near everyone got torched by
Yeah,
Ohio State in the
nobody can
playoffs.
stop.
Yeah, like facts. I like Willie Martinez. I think he's a good DB coach.
And considering the like the amount of some of the talent we lost in the DB room last year, he made good evaluations and turned that secondary that was a little bit questionable into a really good unit for most part of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they got torched in some games, but everyone's gonna get torched some games.
Yep, you're right. Heupel definitely needs to do that. But yeah, honestly, here's my hit list for coaches on the staff entering the season, going from most who I want most to be gone to who I want least to be gone. Starting with at number 1, I'd definitely go Glenn Ellerby, and then at number 2, I'd go Kelsey Pope.
Yeah, that's
And then
fair.
at number 3, I'd go Joey Hazel. I mean, I've heard iffy on Joey Hazel. I've heard some people say that if Joey Hazel had a better offensive line, maybe he could call better plays. But I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess it is kind of hard to call plays, especially with this bad of an offensive line. But like I said, we don't know.
you know what I've always wondered, which is okay. So, you, Vanderbilt really doesn't have the best line either, and they run out of like a bunch of weird formations sometimes. If you notice, like they'll use like a lot of motion, and they'll sometimes line up in like a flex bone type formation
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that. And I've always wondered, if you have like a worse offensive line, why not do a little bit more of those formations that are a little bit, weirder and get people, like on edge. Like, because Alabama looks so lost trying to defend that offense
Yeah,
because they
just
line up in such weird ways with such different formations from everyone else.
all right. You heard it here, folks. Tennessee's going back to the wishbone.
No, I mean I'm not advocating the wishbone, but my point is like they line up in like all these weird different formations a lot of the time that are like that people don't see for the most part, and I feel like that's what Vanderbilt had success. And my point is that it keeps people on edge because you don't know what they're gonna do out of it.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. You
And I
said it
feel like if
exactly
you
as I
and I
would.
feel like if you don't have and I feel like if you don't have a good offensive line, you need to maximize and try to at least get somewhat creative with your play calling to at least try to mask it,
Mm-hmm.
whether it be using more motion or more creative formations or trying to get more blockers out in space, whatever it be.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're going to see a lot about what these teams are made of, both the football team next year and the basketball team soon, because, right now they're beating Mississippi State handily. So it's safe to assume that they're going to hold on and get the dub there against number 14 Mississippi State. The real matches await the next few games. Obviously, we're going down to the barn to play the barn, number 1 ranked team in the country, Tennessee Auburn. That's going to be a hell of a game right there. And then we get Kentucky in Thompson Bowling Arena. We get these clowns.
Pick up your show.
You know the rest. No point in extending that further. But, and then after that, obviously, like I said, me, Lucas, Julio, and Sifs on February 1st are going to the Florida game. Going to be really, really exciting stuff. So we're going to get to see a lot from the basketball team pretty soon, so that's going to be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what's up? Octavian Cador's here. What's going on, Octavian? What's going on, buddy? All right, well, you guys go ahead and ask the last few comments you want to ask. I'm going to do these push-ups for young man Connor real quick. And then whilst Lucas is getting yelled at by his mom, I'm just going to go ahead and do these push-ups. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. Julio, carry the show for 2 seconds.
I can't carry it for 2 seconds because I mean we practically touched on everything for the most part right now.
All right.
Are you back, Lucas?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like, "Yeah, carry the show for 2 seconds." I'm like, "I think we've touched on everything, so I don't really know."
All right, your 2 seconds are up. How'd you do?
I guess I was complaining for 2 seconds. So.
Yeah, what's
he was whining. All he does is whine.
This is a complaining show. This is what we do.
Like, dude, why is Julio such a whiny baby?
We tend to complain a lot, yeah. Let's see. Young Man Connor, when is College Football Chaos Bowl Edition dropping? It should be Saturday. It should be Saturday. Again, I'm not promising anything. Something could go AWOL and hold me back. Obviously, there's a lot of school stuff that I'm doing, taking care of. There's no guarantee I'm going to be able to get everything finished before then. Yep. And I also have to delay it a bit for the channel members, give them a little bit of a perk. But, you know, if everything goes to plan, it should be Saturday night is when it'll drop publicly for everybody. So there's your answer on that.
I'm just excited to see who the special guest is going to be.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, even though I already know who it is.
But... I mean, you guys will be surprised, I think. It'll come as a shocker. I do believe that. So, yeah. Shh. But, yeah, I told them. I told these two fellas who the special guest was going to be. All right.
Then. And I can't tell any of you, or else Squidtard will come over to my house and kill me.
I'll throw you out a few windows, maybe. Freeman, you fool. Yeah, I'm glad I found that voice clip. That was a gold mine for the case of that video. I'm glad I found that one. All right, so we're gonna call it wraps on the show for tonight. I think we've covered all the topics we need to, and all right, understandable. Julio, why don't you go ahead and say what you want to say before we call it wraps on the show?
Just go Vols. I think that's really about it. Also, I guess congrats to Ohio State, even though I don't really like them. But congrats to them and their fans.
All right. One thing I know for certain is that if there was ever a no context Squidtard account, that clip you just saw most certainly would end up on there. So we're not professionals on here. We try to be, but this is why we're not affiliated with the university in any slight bit. It's stuff like this. Lucas, are you still there? Dang, we lost Luke. Oh, never mind.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Cool. All right. Well, you go ahead and say your piece before we call it a night.
Well, I'm just gonna say good night to everybody. I'm going to bed.
Dang, you good?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm just tired, and I got to get up at 3 a.m.
Oh, well, we'll go ahead and wrap this show up then, guys. Appreciate all of you guys for watching. You're all great people. Shout out to each and every one of you. Shout out to the Ohio State fans who managed to finally get yourself a national title. Good for y'all. I'm proud of you. Really proud of you. 10 years ago, Urban Meyer won the first ever 14 playoff title, and now here's Ryan Day winning the first 12-team playoff. The narratives are dead about Ryan Day. Other than that, he's a good coach. Wow. Good for us Tennessee fans, at least, because makes our absolute ass whooping at the hands of them a little bit better. A little bit better. Heals us just a little bit. Guys, thank you all again for watching. We'll see you all next week for another episode of the Vol-Star Podcast at regularly scheduled times on Mondays. And until then, See y'all later. And of course, as always, power to Tardaria and go Vols.